The New England Patriots found out that life without Tom Brady ain't so easy after all, even with the most accomplished coach in NFL history. Not only did the Patriots have their first sub-500 season in 2 decades, which goes back to before Brady took over as their starting quarterback, but they also watched the most popular player in franchise history raise the Lombardi in year 1 with his new team. So what did the hoodie do about it? He backed up the Brinks truck and started handing out big money free agent deals, most notably on the tight end position with Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Then in the draft, Belichick must have gotten good intel from longtime friend Nick Saban, selecting Mac Jones in round 1, hoping that Jones can become their next franchise quarterback.
Obviously, there's things I like that I've done and things I need to adjust. So every day, just stick to my routine and work out hard and be a good teammate and learn how to be a good Patriot.
Belichick likely sees many qualities in Jones that he saw in Brady. He's an intelligent player and should have no problem picking up a new system. He's accurate, gets rid of the ball quickly out to his playmakers, and most importantly, he doesn't turn the ball over. Will that be enough to beat out Cam Newton and become New England's new QB1? We probably won't get that answer until early September.
Let's welcome in Evan Washburn live at Patriots Training Camp, which is in Philadelphia right now, which is not always sunny. The second of 2 joint practices between the Eagles and Patriots ahead of their preseason game on Thursday. Evan, I want to update from camp today because I know on the Eagles side, Jalen Reagor had this incredible catch, which is going viral. But in regards to the Patriots, what have you seen today?
Well, yeah, it was tough to keep track of all the action. These joint practices are such a great window into the development of these teams. But all eyes, from my side of things, were on the Patriots offense and this competition at quarterback between Mac Jones and Cam Newton. And this was an important day because it was a red zone focused practice. So you got to see them work in that tight red area, 20 yards and in the running game, but also the passing game, also some 7-on-7. And both quarterbacks were really solid. Very few drop balls or missed passes, 1 turnover for Mac Jones, but he also made some great plays. A James White pass and touchdown stands out to me. This is going back and forth at this point, and it doesn't seem like either has really gained an edge, but there's no doubt that Mac Jones has gained some momentum in recent weeks just because he has this command and ability to run the offense, but he's also really comfortable, Amanda, in the chaos that was a joint practice.
So give me a little bit more update on the quarterback situation, because this is now the quarterback battle that we're all watching, especially what we saw from Mac Jones in that first preseason game. I mean, when Cam Newton was asked about it, he told the media, you know what I know, which is that Bill Belichick hasn't decided anything. Most of us have thought it will be Cam week 1. Is there any chance that that changes, you think?
Of course. I mean, anything's possible, not just with New England, but across this league. And I do think that it's always important to acknowledge that Bill Belichick and the Patriots often and really do what's best for the team and best to win games. So if Mac Jones develops into that option by the end of the preseason ahead of that game 1 against Miami, then he'll be the starter. You're right. Cam's the incumbent. He's kind of led the way. He still is the first guy out with the first team. Now, Mac Jones gets his reps with the first team as well. But Cam Newton played really well today. I mean, he made a number of throws. Again, it's kind of tough to fully evaluate. One, you're just seeing 1 day of practice, but also a lot of check downs. Again, it was that tight red area that they were working on. But Cam Newton has better command of things here in year 2. Talking to James White after practice, the 8-year vet here on that offense, he sung Cam Newton's praises, but also acknowledged that Mac Jones comes in and is impressive as a rookie.
Give us an update on these New England wide receivers, how they're faring at these joint practices. You say Kendrick Bourne's actually looking pretty good.
He looks great. I mean, he's putting in a lot of work, too, just watching him post-practice, too, working on the jugs machine. And if you think about his game and his career, this is a great opportunity for him. He kind of made some waves there in San Francisco, proved to be a competent wide receiver, but now he gets a chance to elevate his game and possibly be a number 2 or even number 1 option. I mean, it's in flux at this point how that depth chart's going to shake out at the wide receiver position, because they bring in Nelson Aguilar and he gets big money. Kendrick Bourne does pretty well in free agency as well. And Jacoby Myers, from all reports, though, has probably had the strongest and most consistent camp from that wide receiver crew. And you think about him, former quarterback at NC State, now in year 3. He has the experience of that crew in the offense, but maybe not the pedigree of Bourne and Aguilar. So it's a deep group and one that is as competitive as we've seen at the quarterback position, the running back position. It's a theme, Amanda. I mean, they're rolling them all out there, and the desperation to rebound after that 7-9 season is rooted in the competition day to day.
Bourne also says he came to this camp with a chip on his shoulder because the Eagles were apparently interested in him in free agency and decided to pass, so he needed to prove them wrong. Okay, we got to talk about the tight ends because things are not going well for them in regards to injury. Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, both out with injuries. Yesterday, Matt Lacoste also had to leave practice with an injury. What more can you tell us about this tight end group and specifically in regards to Henry?
Yeah, it's concerning just because that's where they really invested a lot of that free agency money on the offensive side of the ball, and this idea of having the 2 tight end packages is something that Patriots fans are salivating for, and it's still possible. Look, Hunter Henry was back out at practice in pads, didn't take part in team drills, was kind of out there for a little bit and then worked his way back to the sideline, but again was on the jug machine after practice. He suffered a shoulder injury a few weeks ago, but appears to be working his way back. Jonnu Smith, a little bit more unclear there. A lower body injury is how it's been reported. That happened on Sunday, but nothing has appeared to be serious in scope with those two. You just need more time on the practice field. Again, the theme I took away from conversations with players and coaches here was that chemistry was as important as anything they do at these joint practices and really over the next few weeks, because as much attention as all these additions bring, and for good reason, it's a lot of high-end talent, unless they come together, Amanda, they don't feel like it's really going to warrant any wins.
So a lot of questions at some of these position groups, a lot of wait and see. One area where Bill Belichick should feel pretty comfortable right now, this veteran group of linebackers. And you were telling me that Matt Judon is looking great.
He looks fantastic, and the energy that he's brought is pretty palpable from those that are here day to day, but even just being out here for one day and watching him fly around, make plays, and he provides that pass rush, but also the ability to set the edge in the run game, which is so key in the way they play defense in New England. And while they're new pieces with this Patriots defense, it's familiar faces. You think about a guy like Kyle Van Noy, who spends a season in Miami, but now he's back, let's call it, back home in New England, a place where he made a name for himself a few years ago, has won a Super Bowl, and he anchors that linebacking crew that is flying around. And then they have a secondary with some new pieces, Jalen Mills from right here in Philadelphia, but the old stalwart back there, and Devin McCourty and J.C. Jackson anchoring that secondary. I think the defense, in a lot of ways, leads the way for New England, at least out of the gate.
Evan, it is the reunion we have been waiting for since March 17th of 2020. That was the day Tom Brady announced he would not be returning to New England. He does return to Foxborough on October 3rd when the Bucs visit the Patriots. I feel like this has to be in the back of Bill Belichick's mind somewhere. Any idea what we can anticipate in this game?
You're talking about week 5. We're sitting here in the middle of August. I'm trying to stay dry right now, Amanda. Yeah, look, it's going to be the game of the first half of the season. Who knows? It could be the game of the year. But the focus in New England is always on what's right in front of them. And I do believe that, especially with this year's version of the team, because, as I mentioned, there's so much new. So they're really focusing on building that chemistry on the field, but also off the field. And that's what a trip like this provides. They got here Sunday. They're going to stay here through their game on Thursday against the Eagles. And they really hope to make strides to get to a point where when they take on Tom Brady there in Foxborough, they'll be ready to go toe-to-toe with the GOAT.
And the line there, it's interesting. The Bucs favored by 3.5. Very curious. All right, let's look at the Patriots as a whole, of course, including that game against the Bucs there. As you mentioned, they went 7-9 last season, missed the postseason for the first time in 11 years, hadn't had a losing season since 2000. The win total right now, Evan, is set at 9.5. What is your expectations for the Patriots this season?
Well, Vegas knows what they're doing. I mean, I think that's a good number. I think with the extra game, I'd feel okay going to 10. I just think that they're going to be so much more improved if they can stay healthy offensively in terms of those weapons. Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, even in short windows, whether it be Jonnu Smith in the preseason game or what Hunter Henry was showing in practice early in training camp, it's really going to offer Josh McDaniels a lot in terms of what he can do offensively. And whether it's Mac Jones or Cam Newton, that's just such a security blanket to have. And they're better on the outside as well. It's a tough division. We were just in Buffalo yesterday. We talked about all their talent. Miami's going to be better. But it's hard to imagine back-to-back losing seasons or even challenging seasons for New England under the direction of Bill Belichick. So I think this is a playoff caliber team. It's got a long way to go based off of just how many new pieces they're incorporating on both sides of the ball. But good luck out on the Patriots.
Evan, we appreciate you standing out in the rain for us there to give us an update from Patriots Training Camp, of course, in Philadelphia right now, getting ready for that preseason game against the Eagles on Thursday. Evan, thank you.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.